Now let's introduce you to the file system that you'll be using for game development on the GameCrafter. Once you're logged in, press Publish or My Game. This time go to Custom Board or Card Game. It will automatically make a new game with a randomly generated name. You can change the name later. Then you'll actually have to create a component to get to the file structure. I'm creating a document. You don't have to. You can click on the type, the shape, or the edit button to get into the point where you can add a new document. Notice you can name the document here, or you can name it later. Since we're not actually wanting a document, I'm not going to name it now. I'm just going to press the add button. Sometimes the GameCrafter doesn't quite get it when you press the button. Once you're there, press the tan symbol with the paperclip again. I'm going to go back and show you that again in case it was a bit too fast. This symbol here, under where it says PDF, lets you add a file. And this will take you into your file system. You'll notice I've already uploaded a lot of symbols for you. There's the back of the playing cards. There's the Portland State logo, which is your designer logo for this login. And there's two folders, File Set A and File Set B. File Set A is just a random mess. It's there to show you what happens when you aren't careful about how you upload your files. File Set B, on the other hand, still a little disorganized, but you'll find that having the folders there will be very useful. Feel free to explore both of those, and as always, feel free to pause the video and work along as I go. The backdrops are theoretically licensed to be royalty-free. I've provided those to be backdrops for your shop page view. Going over the symbols, you can upload files on the left side. You can create new folders, rename folders, even delete folders in the middle. If you delete the folder, it will delete the folder that you're in. If you rename a folder, it'll rename the folder you're in. If you create a new folder, it will create the folder inside the folder that you're currently in, and then it will go to that folder. Moving a folder, you select a folder to move it to, then say choose this folder, and move to, name a folder you're moving it to. In this case it failed because File Set B is inside of the root folder, so we can't put the root folder into File Set B. Import Faces brings in a standard deck of playing cards, and Clean Up will eliminate any files not currently associated with a game. This is actually kind of a bad idea unless you are very certain of the fact that you don't need any of those files. You may have noticed that there was a X in the upper right corner of the file access window. I closed out of that. That brings you back to where you were. Then you can use the blue links along the top to come back to the game or to the larger My Games view. You'll notice that the system for adding other types of components is pretty much the same, except for the parts that we saw earlier. Quadfold boards have two sides to them, which is why those have two file selection icons. Now, you'll notice that this view shows you some other information as well. It gives you a continuously running cost estimate as you add pieces. You can get more details on that by pressing the cost each link. Now I've pressed the Edit Details button, and this lets you put together most of the information that'll appear on the shop page. Down to the left there is the game taxonomy. That's where you upload the files for your backdrop, your shop advertisement. Up here is number of players, time to play, that sort of thing. And then that'll lead into your shop view. Now the shop view at the moment is a little boring since I don't actually have any of the information filled in, but you'll notice it brings up the price. If you haven't filled in a price, it gives the actual price per game. Quadfold boards are very expensive, which is why it's up to $12 there. 30 to 60 minutes is default, 1 to 99 players, 18 and up. You'll see the document that I sort of put into the file. Even though I didn't actually upload anything to that position, it still records that I have a document. Now I'm going to delete the game so that you can go through and do similar playing around. In the green bar, there's the Help button. This will bring you to an area where you can find video tutorials that other people have done, frequently asked questions, that sort of thing. Under Publish, you can also get some similar help. Getting started information gives you some step-by-step info. You can also find videos that people have put together, although a lot of those videos are out of date. The Game Crafter, as I myself found out when I was putting this together, can update their interface surprisingly quickly. Feel free to look around the Getting Started section, the Publishing section, the Help section, if you're having any trouble or if you just want to get a feel for things. The file preparation area is one that you're definitely going to need to spend time with, because that's where you're going to find the templates for putting together your image files. They tend to be available in multiple format. I use Photoshop. You'll find Photoshop is available on most of the school's computers, or at the very least on most of the ones that I happen to use on a regular basis. Square Shards here is a new piece that they've recently added. You'll notice that when you click on it, it not only tells you the dimensions of the shard, but it tells you that it prints 70 of them to a sheet. So if you put one of the square shards into your game, you're paying for 70 of them. So you might as well plan accordingly and see if there's other uses that you have for square shards, or if not, see if there's something you could use in its place. Art resources will take you mostly off-site to places where you can download free images. This section here will just give you information on design tools. It won't actually give you any of those programs, as nice as that would be. You can probably tell at a glance that some of the screen captures here are a little out of date. This is one of the main reasons why I'm not just directing you to pre-existing tutorials and help files. Also, that would be cheating. Using the game editor will give you some reasonable tips, but again, it's going to be outdated information. So be cautious, but you can find occasionally information you're looking for. The pricing section is one that I don't use a lot, but it can be helpful for helping to plan out how much your game is going to cost. The main thing to look for here is for components that print more than one to a sheet, it will tell you the per sheet cost. Another important point on getting help is on the lower part of the screen you'll notice the chat window. The community in the GameCrafter tends to be very helpful. They welcome questions from people starting out, and you should never be afraid to bring a matter to their attention if you think you could use some help.